Hi guys, welcome to our channel HISTO-PH, where we uncover the real, unfiltered stories of ancient Philippine history that schools never taught us. Today, we're diving into one of the most mind-blowing discoveries ever found in our islands, a mystery buried deep inside the legendary Tabon Cave of Palawan. What if I told you that 39,000 years ago, long before the first pyramids rose from the sands of Egypt, long before Mesopotamia discovered writing, and even before China began to cultivate its ancient dynasties, there were already humans living in the Philippines who had developed a technology so advanced for their time that it completely rewrites our understanding of early civilization. This is not mythology. This is not legend. This is the story of the Tabon Cave complex in Palawan, one of the most important archaeological sites in Southeast Asia, and the astonishing discovery that ancient humans here were already using fiber technology tens of thousands of years ago. For decades, we've been told that civilization began elsewhere, in the Fertile Crescent, in Egypt, or China. But evidence from the Philippines tells a different story, one buried under layers of limestone and time. Deep within the Tabon Caves, archaeologists found traces of human presence dating back 47,000 years. The remains of what they called Tabon Man, fragments of skulls and bones that became symbols of our prehistoric past. But what scientists uncovered recently goes beyond the story of one man. It's about a forgotten people, innovators whose intelligence and creativity echo through millennia. Our goal on this video is to get 500 likes and subscribe and press the bell notification. In 2023, a team of archaeologists re-examined the ancient tools excavated from the Tabon Cave complex decades earlier. They weren't expecting anything revolutionary, but when they placed the stone flakes under a high-powered microscope, what they saw changed everything. Tiny parallel grooves, so delicate and consistent, appeared along the stone's edge. These weren't random scratches from hunting or meat cutting. The striations were perfectly aligned, evidence of something intentional, something precise, the scraping and twisting of plant fibers. That microscopic detail opened a window into a lost world. It revealed that early humans in the Philippines were using these tools not just to hunt animals or shape stones, but to engineer fibers into ropes, nets, baskets, and bindings. In other words, the people of Tabon Cave had developed fiber technology, the ability to manipulate plant materials into strong, flexible cords. This might sound simple today, but 39,000 years ago, it was a leap as great as the invention of the wheel. Imagine them along the coastlines of ancient Palawan, a lush tropical world still connected by land to Borneo through what scientists call the Sunderland region. Families sitting around campfires, weaving strands of bark and vine, twisting and pulling, creating ropes that could hold tools, secure shelters, or catch fish. These weren't primitive beings surviving day by day. They were problem solvers, understanding materials, experimenting with design, and passing their knowledge across generations. Fiber technology meant more than survival. It represented a mind capable of planning, foresight, and creativity. To create a rope or net, one must imagine the end result, understand the strength of materials, and coordinate fine motor skills, the very foundations of engineering. It's an early form of material science, hidden beneath millennia of dust. And yet, this story remained invisible for thousands of years. Fiber, being organic, decays quickly. it leaves almost no trace. That's why the world thought such technologies appeared much later in human history. But the stone tools from Tabon Cave preserved the marks, the fingerprints of this lost knowledge. Those faint scratches are silent witnesses to the intelligence of early Filipinos, proving they were thinkers and makers, not just wanderers in a prehistoric world. This discovery forces us to rethink who the ancient inhabitants of the Philippines really were. They weren't passive bystanders in the human story. They were active innovators shaping their environment, developing technology suited to the tropical world around them. In a sense, they were the first Filipino engineers, the earliest to manipulate nature's resources into tools that expanded their possibilities. And it doesn't stop there. The implications stretch across time and culture. The skills used to twist fibers into rope may have become the foundation for later Austronesian craftsmanship, the same culture that would one day master seafaring, build outrigger canoes, and navigate the vast Pacific. The ropes and nets of Tabon may have evolved into the sailing riggings that carried early Filipinos from island to island, spreading language, culture, and innovation across half the globe. That's how deep this discovery runs, a single fiber connecting prehistoric caves to modern nations. Now picture it, the Tabon Caves today, quiet, carved into Palawan's cliffs, facing the endless sea. Inside, layers of history are stacked like pages in an unread book. Each stratum of soil holds fragments of lives lived in deep time. Charcoal from ancient fires, animal bones, broken shells, chipped tools, and now the story of a vanished technology. The walls of the cave, dark and silent, once echoed with voices, laughter, and the rhythmic scraping of stone on bark. These were the first sounds of invention in the Philippine archipelago. It's poetic that the first Filipino innovation wasn't a weapon of war, but a tool of creation. Fiber. Something fragile, humble, and yet powerful enough to build the foundation of society. With rope, they could carry food, build shelters, set traps, tie canoes, and craft nets to fish the abundant seas. With fiber, they connected the physical world, and unknowingly, they connected the timeline of humanity itself. This is where the story transforms from archaeology into identity. For so long, colonial education made us believe that civilization reached the Philippines only when ships from Spain arrived. But the truth is far older and far deeper. The first sparks of creativity on these islands began not in the 1500s, but tens of thousands of years before, in the hands of our ancestors who learned to twist, weave, and bind the gifts of nature. They were not savages, they were scientists. They observed how certain vines held weight better than others. They learned how to soak fibers to soften them, how to dry them to strengthen the strands. They developed processes, invisible, undocumented, yet scientific in every sense of the word. Each generation built upon the wisdom of the last, refining technique, teaching children how to make what their parents once made. That is civilization, the passing of knowledge, the continuity of culture. And just like that, a forgotten chapter of human history returns to light. The discovery of fiber tool technology in Tabon Cave doesn't just add a footnote to Philippine history, it redefines it. It tells us that the spirit of innovation, the desire to create, adapt, and improve, has always been in our blood. Long before the first baybayin was written, before the first balangay sailed, before the first kingdom rose in the Visayas, there were already hands in Palawan crafting the earliest technologies of the Filipino people. And perhaps that's the most powerful lesson of all, that history isn't just about monuments and empires. Sometimes it's about the quiet genius of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. A mother teaching her child to twist fibers into a rope, a hunter repairing his net, a community learning how to survive together through knowledge. Every strand of that rope carried a story. Every mark on those stones carried a memory. And those memories survived, not in written records, but in microscopic grooves that waited patiently for thousands of years to be found again. Today, as we rediscover these traces, we're not just uncovering the past. We're reconnecting with who we are, a people of makers, dreamers, and inventors. The real history of the Philippines doesn't begin with colonization. It begins in Tabon Cave, where humans, 39,000 years ago, looked at the natural world and saw possibility. So the next time someone tells you that